All right. Back live. Excuse me. We'll see what happens here this time, Stoner Gale 420. This is take 3. Yeah, crazy. Robert's in the house. Larry's back. Or am I being punished for taking a chill day? I don't know, man. I don't know, Dale. I'll tell you what. What I did this time is I switched the wires around for the input into the laptop. So hopefully, maybe that was probably, I don't know what the problem was. Because what happened the second time, it said buffering. And then this is the new camera. Yes. Um, it said buffering, and then it cleared up for me, but you guys couldn't see me or hear me. So I'm thinking that the mic with this new one, there's a mic right on the camera. So maybe the other it's not letting the other mic do anything anymore. So I don't know. Here, we're gonna try something. I'm gonna get real close to this one. Now, is that making it louder or no? I'm gonna try. We'll try that. See what happens with that. Did that get louder or not? No. All right. So then the camera and the mic are both up on the new camera. So, all right. All right. Well, anyway, I guess the new mic has a camera, so I guess it's all tied in together. So it's not different anymore. Crazy stuff. But anyway, so we'll try to get this one going, and hopefully this one goes okay. So um, we will try this again. All right. So anyway, welcome everybody. We got Okie Forges here, Love Mobley, Raymond is in the house, Delbert is here, Gator Red 157, JJ of course, Nostradamus, uh, TS Promo, Serenity Seal, Janet's here, The Garden Life. So welcome everybody, and hopefully we can. This one will work this time. 3 times a charm, maybe. We'll find out. So Kathy's here again as well. That's good. So anyway, as I was saying, I'm going to go back to talking about my story, my last break from New York. Okay, so we'll go from there, and we'll just try to do this all again. So I had canceled my truck insurance last week. I think it was last week, and I talked to my realtor, talked to my our insurance guy up in New York for the car insurance, and he said, you gotta fill out this form and mail your plates to New York. And even though it says you have to have $1 in there. And he says, can you download the form? And I said, I can't. I don't have any way of downloading anything. He goes, well, I could email it to you. I go, that's not going to help me because I can't download it. He goes, all right, I'm going to mail you the form. And he said, that way, once you get it, take your plates, go to the post office, mail your plates in. Because what New York State will do, if you do not turn your plates in, they will call down to West Virginia and suspend my driver's license, so that, because they want their freaking plates back. Why? I have no idea. Okay. And I said to him, I go, well, wait a minute. I said, what about my motorcycle plates? I said, because I still have my plates from my motorcycle, even though I transferred it all down here, because the DMV down here would not take the New York plates. And he said they don't care about trailer plates. They don't care about motorcycle plates. They only care about motor vehicle plates, like trucks and cars and stuff like that. And I went, all right. So today I jumped on a bike, went down to the post office, and did that. And so that was my last break, if you will, with New York. My last tie, other than family, obviously. But yeah, they want the aluminum. I don't know what they want, Larry, but New York State is New York State. I mean, it's just it's its own entity, if you will. So mailed them in. They're gone. So that was the last of the last tie, if you will. So Delbert says North Carolina is the same way. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand any of it, to be honest with you. But I guess that's not up to me to make that call. So, the rest of this week, just to let you guys know, I will be live streaming on Friday. I will also be live streaming on Sunday. So I already know that ahead of time. So I wanted to let you guys know while you're in here tonight, because obviously I couldn't live stream yesterday because I had to work. But I had today off, and like I said, I took a chill day today. I really just wanted to chill out. And like I said, I had it in my mind I needed to go get those debt taken care of, and so I got to tell you, so it's limited on a motorcycle what you can get, right? I mean, you are really limited on a motorcycle of what you can carry. When you know, so I had my neighbor. I had asked him last Friday if he would take me to go do some run around, and I bought him lunch and I gave him, money for gas and stuff like that, and he was cool about that. So, so I did that Friday. So I did like a big grocery shop, got everything that I wanted or I felt like I wanted or needed or whatever the case may be. So I'm like stocked up on food for quite a while. I stopped and got dog food for the puppies, and then I got puppy treats as well. The bacon strip. It was Taco Bell, Larry. See, you guys pay attention. Yeah, because I said to him, I go, we can hit Taco Bell. And he's like, oh, I haven't had Taco Bell in forever. He goes, what are you going to get? I said, I'm going to get a number 5. And he was like, all right, I'll do the same thing. Love Taco Bell. Absolutely love Taco Bell. So, but Uber ad, oh, that's funny. That's funny, Okie Forge. But yeah, so I did that running around Friday. So today I was I the only thing I knew I needed to have that I didn't get last time was milk, because I still had milk. So like I picked up a half gallon of milk today and a half gallon of orange juice. So I'm like that I could fit in there with no problem. The cool thing is one saddlebag. I'll share this information with you, okay? If I drink beer, I drink Labatt's, okay? Well, down here they sell it in the 24-ounce cans. I can very easily get 6 Labatt's Blue 24-ounce cans into one of the saddlebags. I'm sure that was information that you guys needed to know, but it's very pertinent when you're coming home and you need to stop and pick up a couple of beers for later. You got to be able to see how much you can get into the saddlebag. But no, that's I don't care. It doesn't matter. But anyhow, uh, Miss Three, what's up with the truck? Oh, truck is done, Rhonda. Truck is done. So what I'm going to do is my game plan basically is to between now and probably November, depending on what the weather's doing, is just try to save up as much money as I possibly can to buy a vehicle so that I'll never have a payment again. And so, that's the game plan. I don't want to ever have a truck payment again. If I can put together enough money, go out and pick up an older truck that I can utilize, then that's okay. It's all right, Real Freedom. I mean, things happen. Things happen. It's just part of life, unfortunately. But so in the meantime, I have the motorcycle, so I have transportation. Just can't carry a lot of stuff on it. So, I have to make alternative plans when I do that. But and I love to ride anyway. So it's not like, that's like, oh, God, I have to take the motorcycle. It's not a lot of fun in the rain, but, that's part of riding. So, you just do what you got to do. But anyway, so no, it was pretty chill day today, and yeah, ours is old but no payment. Well, if you guys remember, when I had the Santa Fe, I had that Santa Fe for 11 years. So I had 5 years of truck payments on that, and then after that was paid off, I had you know I had no payments for 6 years. So I like doing it. Delbert said, I like to ride too, but not the way I had been when it's raining here so much. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I will tell you right now, it has been straight up there with suck with riding with in the rain. We've had a lot of rain. So Yeah, it's a motorcycle thing. If you ride, sometimes you get wet. Lately here, it was every day. It was every day, and I was just like, I will tell you, I came home from work the one night, top three worst drives ever I've ever had on a bike. And I'll tell you, I was on a highway. It was raining so hard. Now, guys, I wear a half helmet. Okay, um, I wear a half helmet. I don't wear a full face shield. I've always just worn a half helmet. So I'm on my way home. It's raining so hard, I couldn't see, and it's nighttime. And I'm on a highway, which is 70 miles an hour, and I'm doing 45 miles an hour on the very inside line, watching the white line because that's how I knew, um, that's how I knew where I was. My advice to you is to wear a full face. I never have, Billy. I have never owned a full face. Now, I made Heather wear full face. But I never have. So, but anyway, I couldn't see. Most terrifying ride. I will tell you right now. And then when I got up on my road, not only was it raining, but then the fog set in because where I live, for whatever reason, the fog loves to be in here, loves to settle in, and so that was not a fun ride home. Got home, and that was the day. And that was the day, if you remember, when I did the live or video and like the next couple videos that I had done, and I said the culvert, where we had just put the stone in, that had all washed out because that particular day I parked up on top by the road. I said I'm not driving the bike in, and I got off the bike and I was walking in, and it was all washed out again. So that's when we had to. That's a couple weeks ago now, but. Yeah, that was not a fun ride. That was definitely not a fun. Now the culvert now, just so you guys know, and we've continued to have a ton of rain. Culvert is fine; it's holding up great. We will be adding quickcrete and rebar into both ends of that culvert. We've Danny came down and really did a lot of gravel work and more on that. So I'm gonna try to find something used. I don't care if it's older. Okay, it's not gonna make that don't make a difference to me as long as I don't have a car payment or a truck payment. So I definitely will find something. I'm just gonna save my money for now, and in the meantime, and I'll tell you what, I'm saving a ton on insurance because I don't have that truck insurance anymore. The bike is reasonably cheap, and that's all registered down here now. So, I am all right with that. But so yeah, we're just gonna do. It's called short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. So you sacrifice for a few months, and realistically, okay, is it a sacrifice to drive the motorcycle? Not really. It limits me on what I can do as far as getting supplies in here and stuff like that. But you know, it's just I enjoy riding, so coming home from Arkansas, hit heavy rain and wind, stopped under a highway underpass. Wind blew my gold wing over. Wow, yeah, that's heavy winds. Yeah, that's heavy winds. Yeah, anybody. I'm gonna tell you what. Anybody that has ridden, and if you ride, okay, and not just not yet, Village Homestead. Mark is going to be down Friday. And so, yeah, so there's the other part that's going on right now, guys. Okay, with the bike, I have no rear brakes right now, so everything is all front brakes. So we're gonna Mark's coming down, and so let me give you an example. Okay, so I had called the dealership, and I was going to take the bike in to the dealership and have them fix my rear brakes. And then I asked them, how much would it be for a tune up, right? What would it cost me to get the bike tuned up? They were like $600 to do a tune up. I'm like, what? Ridiculous amounts of money to get your bike tuned up. So what's going to happen is Mark knows how to work on bikes too. He's like the mechanic of the group. Okay. So he's getting front and rear brakes. We're going to replace both of them. We're going to do a tune up on the bike. you know, and supplies for all that, it's going to be about $100. And then I'll give him some money for doing it. I would rather give him money. Um, I just have no back brakes right now, Sean. Yeah, so that's fun. That's another fun one to deal with. So I've been, been driving with just the front brakes. So, but that's, you know, that's why, if you guys remember, like, where's the bike? Bike's in the upper meadow. Um, the bike's in the upper meadow because when I came home the first time with just the front brakes and was coming down this last hill. Now, it may not look steep on video, guys, but it's steep, okay? And I started sliding on the bike. Now, my bike weighs 750 pounds, okay? You don't want to have the bike sliding like that. So I'm like, until I get the rear brakes fixed, she can stay up in the upper meadow and I'll park it there. So that's what I've been doing. So I get to walk the hill every day, which is just wonderful. And you know, but a lot of us missed it. What happened to your truck? My truck is done, guys. That's it. Truck is done. I said it earlier, and you know, I've said it before. The truck is just done. So, but so the truck is off the road, not drivable, and that's the end of that. So I'm just I'm done with the truck, and so now we move on. You know, I mean, it's all we can do. So, but anyway, so I actually want to get into talking about. Oh, I wanted to give you guys an update too with the bees. Okay, so with the weather finally getting nicer, the bees basically, I was giving them sugar water, and it would be 2-3 days before they would need new sugar water. And so here's what happens, and so I just kind of give you guys an idea of the way that I do it. Okay, when they fill up the bottom box, that's theirs. So it don't matter if that's all sugar water, honey, or not. The second box is also all theirs. So that one doesn't matter if it's all sugar water or not. Okay. So what I do is when I put on the third box and put the queen separator on and then put the third box on, that's when I stop giving them sugar water. So they're already bringing in pollen. I was down there watching them, and it's so cool to watch them, you know, flying in and bringing in the pollen and stuff like that. It's so cool to watch that. But so it's a mix right now of sugar water and regular pollen that they're bringing in. So anyway, so here's what. So anyway, so what the third hive, right? That one I put on the second box almost a week ago. All right. The middle box is they're doing okay. They're just not as active as the other two. And now the first box today, I added the second box onto the first hive today because they're doing really, really well. They're expanding. They're looking good. So you want to make sure they have an activity and something to do. Once you get about 3/4 full on that bottom box, and they'll fill it in. They'll fill in that bottom box, okay? But you give them that opportunity to expand. And I checked on today. I did this as well. I checked on the third hive, the last one, and because I had put that box in, and I didn't take the box off this time, but I took the top off and took that wooden piece off the top and was looking. A lot of activity, a lot of activity. So I'm like, all right, they're good to go. So I didn't want to mess with them, so I just covered it back up and put that back on. So they're doing great. Now that first hive, when I took that top box cover off, the whole underside of that cover was just loaded with bees. There was a ton of bees because they're looking to build. They want to expand. So that's why the second box went on that first hive today, because you got to give them that room to expand, or otherwise they will abscond. They will leave. Okay. And we don't want them to leave. We want them to stay right there. So, but a lot of activity. It was a real nice day. And you can see them coming in and out. And so they're just doing fantastic. Now, like I said, the first hive and the third hive are doing gangbusters. The second hive, the middle hive, is not terrible. They're growing, but they're not as fast as the other two hives. So it all depends on the queen, guys. It all depends on the queen. So, but yeah, everything looks good. Really, really happy with them so far. I've been very attentive with the bees. And so when Village Homestead comes down, hopefully he bought his bee suit because he said he wants to check out the bees and stuff as well. So, but yeah. So anyhow, that's what's going on with all that. So that's all looking great. Puppies are great. Hella's good. Now, tell you this right now. So now Kali has not, okay? Kali has not, but Hella just went into heat. All right. So I need to separate her from the boys. I mean, when I say like yesterday was the first day I saw the dripping of the blood. So when I leave, she's going to be separated from the rest of them moving forward. Right now, Kali is not gone into heat yet. I just think she's too little yet. Yeah, real men don't use bee suits. Okay, I want to have you go down there and not use a bee suit, Village Homestead. You can go right on ahead and do that. I've been stung enough with the bee suit on. So, but where's the human chainsaw Jimmy been? He's in the process of moving from one state to another. So he was moving from Pennsylvania down to South Carolina. And so he's been really busy with that. And then he's going out, actually this month, he's going back out to California to see the grandson and stuff like that. So, yeah, lucky the lightning strike didn't disrupt the beehive. I think they were far enough away and they're not hooked up to electricity. So, is the bunker filled with water? You know what, Larry? Probably. I haven't been back there. I haven't looked. I imagine with all the rain that we had, it probably is full of water. That's something that we really got to get back on top of and get going again. To be honest with you, it just hasn't happened. We have been really focusing on other things, and so we're going to talk about a little bit about all this right now because we haven't talked about anything yet other than just regular stuff. So, what do we got? 224 in the chat. We got 76 thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel, and I do appreciate that. Really makes a big, big difference with the algorithms as well. So I thank you for that reason as well. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. Okay. And which pup's ears are still not up? Well, you had Gangus's ears were up, and then they kind of went back down. And I just think that's because he's having such a huge growth spurt. He is the largest of the dogs. Zeus is the one that his ears have not gone up at all. Kali's ears are up, and Caesar's ears are up. And I think that I don't know if Zeus's ears will go up. I don't know. But I just think it gives him character. Anyway, he's a big freaking dog, too. He's solid. But they're doing really, really well. But and it's kind of funny because the hierarchy has changed a little bit. Caesar was more the alpha, and Genghis has now kind of taken over that role as the alpha of of them. So, but yeah, they're doing really, really well. They're really just growing gangbusters, and so, and with the four of them. I was just kind of figuring it out. 40 pounds of dog food a week is pretty much where I'm at. The ears will go up. We had one take a full year. Well, I think when they're done growing, Real Freedom, that's when his ears might go up then. But where Genghis is tall and thinner, but now he looks like he's starting to fill out. Okay. And Zeus is like a tank. He is solid as a rock and he's big, but Genghis is the biggest. So, and he was only 3 pounds heavier. Hell is doing great. No, Hell is doing really, really well. So, but anyhow, I want to talk about, like I said, it's been super, super quiet, right? Guys kind of noticed there hasn't been a lot going on other than the regular BS that they try to feed us on the legacy news media on a daily basis, right? We're angry at this, we're angry at that. They just arrested. What was it? Was it Maine? Some kid, and I love this with the way they do this. He was an 18-year-old kid. He was on his way to school, right? He's been in the country for a decade, right? And so the truck was registered under his father's name, so they stopped him, and because they wanted his father, because lo and behold, they're all illegal aliens, right? They're all here illegally, been here over 10 years. Um, Ed, you haven't blocked me from your view, have you? I don't think so, Chris. I don't really block anybody. Um, well, I shouldn't say that. I block anybody that comes in here and acts like a tool bag. I'll block them then. But because you're answering or asking a question on camera, obviously you're not blocked. So, um, but anyway, um, so you had that situation where so they arrested this kid. Now the whole school did a protest and they walked out in support of this kid. They're all here illegally, folks. Illegal is illegal. I'm sorry that the kid's parents brought him here illegally a long time ago, 10 years, but it's too bad. I wonder if there's anyone else who's had 50% of their SS canceled. What are you talking about, Tony? I don't know what you mean. I do not know what you mean. But anyhow, so you're seeing all that in the news. And what was it? What did I see? Oh, the other thing I saw in the news, and I love the way that they did this. This was great. So you remember when the mayor and the congresswomen went to the detention center in New Jersey, and the mayor got arrested. The mayor got arrested, and the congresswoman was charged with my Social Security has been cut. Did they give you a reason why it was cut, Tony? But so anyway, the congresswoman was arrested for assault because she was getting physical. They were trying to force their way into the facility, and that's why he got arrested. That's why she was arrested and charged with assault. But the way that they said it in this article that I read while visiting the detention center. No, they weren't visiting the detention center. They didn't have an appointment to go in. They were trying to force their way in with the cameras on and the big grandstanding and stuff like that. And so he was arrested, and so was she, and she has now been charged with assault. So I love how the legacy news media will spin something when their side and everybody that is paying attention to anything knows that anybody that the legacy news media is very, very left leaning, if not completely left leaning, and they have been for a very, very long time. The days of Walter Cronkite bringing us the news and letting us decide our own opinion are long over, long over. Now it's all opinion pieces, and it's Trump is bad, and we're the victims and all that stuff. So it's a lot of nonsense in my opinion. But you break the law, you got to pay for the consequences, right? You can't go around assaulting people and expect there not to be consequences for that. If you're told to leave, you need to leave. Where's all my coffee? It's over here. It's on this camera is instead of in the center where the other one was, I'm going to have to move it over because it's actually driving me nuts. It's on the side. It's on a side angle. So that's why you can't see the coffee is right there though. So actually let me turn this a little and here it is. Now you can see the coffee. But now this has got me over to the side. So we're going to put that back for right now. I'm going to move this over to the center. This doesn't sit on the computer, the laptop the same way. Doesn't sit on the laptop at all. I got it on top of other stuff behind there. So that's how that's sitting. So I'm gonna slide it over. But anyhow, but things have been quiet. Not a lot going on. I received a phone call from somebody that I know that has done some things in the past that makes like Blackwater look like Cub Scouts. I'll just put it like that. I'm not going to give any more information than that. But he called me and very, very concerned, and was asking me about my progress and how things are going here. And I told him, what we've been working on. And he's like, really get rocking with what you got to do. And when this gentleman tells me these things, I listen. Okay. And that's why I'm sharing with you. I'm not going to go into details of what we discussed, but I would just say it is imperative to get your ducks in a row, get things lined up. Since the beginning of the year, it may not seem like it, but we've been a lot more focused on the important tasks that need to be done here. Uh, you know, when the time comes, can we harvest a ton of wood and do what we got to do? Absolutely. We'd have enough people to do that really quickly. Okay. So that's not really we got a lot of wood sitting here already, but getting the wood stoves in, getting the rain catchments set up. I mean, I'll tell you honestly, in a way, I'm disappointed that we didn't have more of the rain catchments set up because of the amount of rain that we'd had over the last couple of weeks has absolutely been insane. Absolutely been insane. So if those rain catchments had all been set up, I'm almost guarantee you everybody would have had full tanks of water, completely full tanks of water. So, like I know Mark has got the 2 tanks down there, but they were already full. Okay, they were already full, and he's got the other 2 totes that he's still got to build the thing for it and get those set up. But so he's already got what was it 550 gallons sitting down there. So, but supposed to get a ton of rain here again in the next few days. Delbert said, okay. No notification, and I'm late again. Well, Jane D, this is the take 3. We had issues the first couple of times. So, and I don't know why, but this one is doing okay. So we're going to be leaving it alone. Hopefully no other issues. But anyway, yeah, it's just, he had said to me, get your stuff squared away, get things buttoned up, do what you got to do. So like even we're actually going to be doing the get together over a 2 weekend phase, if you will. So we're going to be getting together this weekend. There'll be a few of us here. We're going to be working in the pavilion, doing what we got to do there, and then we're going to really get into working together in a couple of the other buildings, like Jamie and Dawn's place down there with their son Brandon. We're going to get their wood stove set up, hopefully get that squared away and get that in and just kind of go from there. But I just, my gut's been telling me for a while that we're running out of time. And so, the more ready we can be, do you have any more theories on what's coming? I don't exactly know, but I was told that it would be on every continent. So it's not like just a North America thing, and it's not just a Europe thing, and it's not just an Asia thing. You look at the situation, like an example would be Mount Etna's going off again, right? Now, it's not a huge volcanic explosion. If it was a worst case scenario over there, they would be in big, big trouble. The Colorado terror attack, yeah, that's just that's think about, okay, when they talk about Agenda 2030 and all that type of stuff and reducing the population, is that BS? Is it not BS? I don't know. But if it's not BS, let's look at it from that angle. If it's not BS, something has to happen to greatly reduce the population of the world, right? I mean, that's what's got to happen. There's got to be some kind of event that causes a huge reduction in the world population. And so that wouldn't surprise me if, something was let loose virus-wise, you have a whole bunch of people now that are having issues because of this, right? That are having problems that are more susceptible. Their immune systems aren't where they should be, and all those type of things. So that's a concern. That should be a concern. And it wouldn't shock me if it was multiples of things. Um, could be war, right? I mean, there's always going to be those people that want war that doesn't like just go away or just stop. But there's, those type of situations could pop off. I mean, even with India and Pakistan going at it like they were, and you just don't know. You don't know. I mean, now that's died down, which is great, but that doesn't mean that can't pop off again in a minute. And then if there's issues, if there's something major going on, um, you know, it would be, you know, one of the things that has been talked about, with they're not, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all. I mean, I don't think, oh, they're out to get us and stuff, but what you see, what's being done, um, too many things have gone on that makes a lot of the things that were conspiracy theories turned out to be reality. So that's concerning. So I don't have a lot of trust. And I think a lot more people are getting on that mindset and that wavelength that the trust is not there. So the powers that be, and I'm not talking about the presidents or premiers or I'm talking about the real people in control. Okay, the real people that call the shots. They want to reduce population, so they're going to do what they need to do to make that happen. And that doesn't, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if there was a lot of things that happen. We could have massive terrorist attacks in the United States. I mean, under the Biden administration for 4 years, our borders, folks, were wide open, and yeah, they need a reset, right? And that's exactly it. People know too much. Well, it's not a matter of people know too much. People are asking too many questions. That's the problem. They don't like that. They don't want people to say, "Hey, wait a minute, that's not right." They want people to follow blindly, to do what they're told, to not ask questions, to be the worker bees, and do what you're told without any kind of thing. The whole thing with people had talked about before with digital currency. If they ever were able to enact a digital currency, that's complete and total control, my friends. That's total control. Because if you don't comply, if you don't do what you're told, if you're not a good boy or a good girl, they can cut you off computerly to access to your money, your job, whatever the case may be, and then you're screwed. So, I mean, there is a lot of things that could happen. Do I think they could usher that in now, a digital currency? I don't think so, because too many people would fight against it. We will only take so much. That's the reality. And they know that. So they do little things, they do little things at a time. And, they got their mouthpieces out there talking their talk and saying what they're going to say. Um, and it's even like the whole race baiting crap that's been going on for a while now. I'll tell you what, I had noticed that, like, in the 80s, it was a little bit different. And then I noticed that all of a sudden, and actually, I honestly believe it happened when Obama became president. Race relations took a nosedive after he became president. That's my opinion. You can think differently. It's perfectly fine. But I pay attention to stuff and I watch how things are done. That victim mentality really accelerated under him. Okay. And so you got a lot of people that want to play the victim that won't ever take responsibility for their own actions of, you know, just because you were born poor doesn't mean that you're doomed to that. Or, oh, because I'm going to give you an example of something. Talk about prisons, right? Let's talk about prisons for a second. So you get these guys, they go to prisons, or they go to prison for whatever reason. And then they, try and fight to get out, and they get out on parole. And I think the reoffending rate is like, it's ridiculously high. Like 75-80% of them end up back in prison. And you go, and if you look at it and you go, why? Why would you? because it's what they know. It's what they're comfortable with. All right. And they will use every excuse, like an example would be, all right, so you're out on parole and you got to take a piss test, once a month or whatever as part of your parole. You got to be in at a certain time, whatever the case may be. And they will do drugs or they will do something on purpose and making an excuse of why it's okay. And then when they go back to jail, then they're the victim. Do you understand what I'm saying with that? And it's just, I don't understand that mindset. Okay. I don't understand that mindset. Not a fan of jail. Don't want to go to jail. Want to stay out of jail. I want to stay off the radar of anybody. I mean, it's like, I like my whatever freedoms that we have. I like that. But it's just, but yeah, they would rather be on the inside because it's what they know. It's comfortable and it sounds weird, but that's the way it is. So, that whole dynamic is insanity to most logical thinking people, but that's their normal. So they always make excuses. You look at people that do the same thing over and over and over again and expect different results. That's the definition of insanity, folks. You got to change your situation. You got to change what you're doing. You got to change the people that you're hanging. If you want to change and get out of an environment, it's up to you. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's magically going to come in and say, "Hey, I'm here to save the day. You're going to be, I'm going to be your hero." No, you got to want to, and you got to put in the hard work. I've been very honest with my past. Well, we're going to do it at the 45-minute mark on here, Larry. Okay. So we got about 3 more minutes on here, and then we'll do that because I'm going to still do an hour because of the screw up of everything the first couple of times. So I'm still going to do an hour. So when we get 45 minutes here, I will do the egg count then. But I've been very honest about my past. I was not a good person when I was younger. I did a lot of stupid stuff, made a lot of mistakes. I always tell people I pulled my head out of my butt when I was 27 years old. At 27 years old, one day, I sat in the mirror, I looked at myself in the mirror, and I didn't like what I saw. Okay. Now, was there an epiphany moment? Did something happen? No. I just didn't like what I was doing. I was making money. I had money. I was doing all right financially, but I didn't like what I was doing to get the money. Okay. And I decided to make a change. So I moved out of state. I went down, I got completely out of New York. I moved down to North Carolina. I had somebody that I knew down there that I asked him, could I stay with you for a couple of weeks, him and his wife, until I get, myself established and I'll get my own place. And he was like, absolutely, man, come on down. So I did. And I went down there and the difference. So for me, when I went to North Carolina, and then people said, hey, man, you want to get high? And I went, no, man, I don't do it. And they go, oh, okay, cool. I couldn't do that in New York at that time because I was doing that. I was, doing all kinds of stuff. And so if all of a sudden I just stop, people are like, well, what do you do? What, you got stoned yesterday. Why aren't you going to get stoned today? Blah, blah, blah. So for me personally, I had to make a change. I had to make a complete break and go off. And I did. I was gone for a year. And when I came back to New York, I didn't hang with those people anymore. I changed out who I was hanging out with and what I was doing. And so when I came back to New York, I still wasn't doing any drugs. And I just was taking care of my business. And then I went back to school and all that type of stuff. And the rest is history. But it always comes down to you as an individual. That's why I always say to everybody, it's STD, step, thing, and day. Working methodically at whatever your goal is, and the only person stopping you is you. That's it. So it's always, and it's a choice, right? Love Mobley just said it's a choice. We all have a choice. We come to a crossroad in our life. We can go this way or we can go that way. And whatever decision you make is going to affect how your life is going to be. So, that to me, when people play the victim, I mean, I grew up poor. I mean, I've been very, very poor. We were living, I'll just give you an example. Okay. We were living in Buffalo. It was my mom, my sister, and myself. It was wintertime. Our front porch was the refrigerator. Okay. We didn't have a refrigerator. So the front porch was a refrigerator. We had mattresses on the floor, and our clothes were in boxes. We didn't have dressers either. Okay, so we had, but we had food to eat. Mom was making sure we ate. So we didn't eat great. It was a lot of macaroni and cheese and hamburger helper and those type of things, but we ate. Okay, but we were poor, and we knew we were poor. And I always remember as that kid thinking, when I can make my own money, I'm not going to be poor anymore. And so, I've worked my whole life. And when I wanted something, I earned it and I went out and I got it. So, but that's a choice. Again, it's always a choice. All right. But we also need to learn from our mistakes and not repeat them over and over and over again. So that's a key thing too. All right, we're going to do egg count. So first, we got 240 in the chat. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. And I thank you ahead of time. Really does make a huge difference with the algorithms. So I thank you that way as well. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. So how many eggs today? And yes or no for Miss Betty White. So go let you guys get your guesses in, and we will go from there. But no, like I said, we all go through stuff. Everybody watching this live stream right now is going through something in their life. Everybody, some good, some bad, but we're all going through something. And that's why I really think it's always important to try to be respectful of other people, because you don't know what they're going through. You just don't know. That doesn't give you an excuse to be an a-hole to anybody either. You know what I mean? Just because things are not great, then that never gives you an excuse to be a jerk. So that's my take on that. So all right, if you had the same exact guess as Kathy, one of my hardcore members, with 3 eggs today, and yes for Miss Betty White, then you are 100% correct. So congratulations to Kathy. You've won absolutely nothing, but you are happy about it. So there we go. But yeah, I just things are starting to dry out. The dog run's looking a lot more dried out, which is great. That's been a mess in there. I've put in so much straw in the dog run, put so much straw in with the chickens. It's been crazy, absolutely crazy. But we're getting there. We're getting there. So, but anyway, because of that conversation, obviously, we're going to continue to try to focus on right now here at the homestead is getting people's buildings. If they don't have all their insulation and if they don't have whatever wiring done or whatever that case may be, that's not the most important thing right now. The most important thing right now is for them to get their rain catchment set up and get their wood stoves in. Until everybody in every building has that set up and done, we need to get that, get that rocking. We definitely need to get that rocking. So. But yeah, it's just a lot of interesting stuff. And like I said, a conversation I had, like I said, my radar for myself has been up anyway. Like I said, a lot of people think just because Trump got elected, now everything's great and everything's going to be wonderful. That's not always going to be the case. It doesn't mean you stop and go, okay, well, now we can just chill out for the next 4 years because everything's going to be wonderful. Things can change in a blink of an eye, folks. I mean, they can change real quick. Remember a couple things that I've always said, okay? Food is never going to be cheaper than it is right now. 4 years ago, the amount of money that you would spend on food don't even go close to as far as it would now. So the more that you get stocked up, the more that you are ready, food, supplies, whatever the case may be, medical supplies, clothing, whatever. Everything is just going up and up and up. So if you can get stocked up on things, it's like Sandy she had gotten a bunch of hand towels and stuff like that, and some silverware at a thrift store. And then obviously she washed the hand towels and stuff like that. But it takes time, and Trump won't do everything like we want. Of course not. Of course not, Okie Forge. He's getting fought on every step of the way as well. I was watching a thing the other day, and Cash Patel was in front of Congress, and of course he was getting grilled by the Democrats, and they're talking, "Oh, you're weaponizing the Department of Justice and the FBI," and he goes, "Yeah, like you did to me." It's so funny that he's getting rid of people that it was all political, that they were going. So he's getting rid of the people that were going after people just because of politics and not because of other things. And now the Democrats are upset about that. Well, too bad. Too bad. And I'm like I said, it's just they're doing what they need to do. It takes a while to clean the rats out of a rat's nest. You don't get them all on the first try. So a lot of things going on that way. And but yeah, Trump is keeping his promises. I agree with you, Alex. He said no tax on tips. They're trying to get that passed through. Now it's with the Senate, and they're making whatever adjustments they're going to make on it to get it to pass. Then they'll send it back to the House, and then it'll have to be passed there. So it's all that negotiation and pork like they do in those bills. You know what I mean? And but again, at the end of the day, they're going to give us a little bit, and they're going to take more. That's what they do. So yeah, he learned a lot about DC in his first term. I'll bet he did. I'll bet he did. And like I said, what happened? He got out of office, and they went after him like crazy. And they're already talking that. So I hope that the midterms that they maintain control. The Republicans, meaning I hope they maintain control. Usually that's not the case, but I hope that they do, and they get stuff done, and that we don't have to deal with these BS impeachments again, like we did the first time. I mean, the guy was impeached twice, and what happened from it? Nothing, right? He was still the president, and guess what? He still got reelected. So, I mean, they were doing everything they could to not let him get back in, and he got back in anyway. And I think that speaks volumes of the people that have just had enough. They've just had enough, So, hey, Philip, welcome. Good to see you. Yeah, we're gonna do. We're gonna go. It's almost 9, but we're still gonna go for like another 7 minutes here, just because the first 2 streams got screwed up. So, the thing is, who knows what's really going on? Who knows what the real agenda is and what they're trying to do? But as I've said many times, control what you can control. What can you control? You can control how much food you put away. You can control, getting other things, water, other supplies. Be ready for blackouts. Power is about control. So if they cut the power off, folks, if all of a sudden we have an issue and we have no power, most people are going to roll over and play dead, and they're going to do exactly what they're going to do. I did see about the bombings in Russia. What you're seeing, we'll talk about this really quickly. We're going to talk about the future of warfare. Future of warfare is going to be done with drones, guys. That's the future of warfare. You got the drone, unmanned, nobody on it. You fly in, drop that bomb on whatever the target is, and kill the adversary or destroy whatever you're trying to destroy. That's the future of warfare. So whoever has the most advanced technology is going to be the ones that can control everything. Like out here, am I untouchable out here? Not at all. If they felt that I was a threat, let's say the powers that be, they could come in here and wipe us out in a heartbeat. Okay. It's what they can do. They can do whatever they want to do. So, like I said, again, I don't want to give them any reason to be on anybody's radar. And I'm sure I'm on a list somewhere just because of the way I think and the way that I've talked on here and everything else. So, it's warfare is going to be different moving forward, but that doesn't mean it's going to be for the better. So, again, just Be ready for a long-term event where there's not going to be any power, that there's not going to be any heat, there's not going to be any way to stay cool. You know, if you live in the South and if you're in the deep South, you need to think about what are your alternative ways to stay comfortable. If you're in the North, you better have ways to stay warm when that time comes. Because if the power goes out in the middle of winter at some point, guys, there's a lot of people that are going to be in real bad shape really, really quickly. And they can't take care of us all. They can't, and they won't. Okay? They can't take care of everybody. So take care of yourselves. Be self sufficient. Put yourself in a situation where you're not relying on your government. I don't ever want to be in a position where I'm relying on the government to take care of me. Never, never want to be in that position. So if I can make the steps now and take the steps to put myself in a situation where I'm going to be okay, that's what I'm going to do. And, we just keep driving on. That's all we can do. Move forward one step at a time and just keep doing what we're doing. And as long as you're making forward progress, when that event or whatever is going to happen happens, you're going to be in a lot better shape for it, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Are you ready? We're never going to be ready. Not 100% ready. Now, am I more ready than the average bear? Absolutely. I like our chances long term, okay? Because we have a plan, we know what we're doing, we're putting things together. I mean, you look at the progress that we've made here in just a couple of years on this homestead. So, it's, now we've increased the flock of the chickens. So that's, another step moving forward, so all these things, again, it just takes time, working, steady, steady, steady. And before you know it, things do come together. And, and like I said, right now, our focus, other than, like I said, getting wood stoves in, getting gutter systems up, getting rain catchments set up, that's one of the priorities. The other priorities are the pavilion and the shower room. Once the shower room is done, once the pavilion is done, we will eventually add on to the pavilion. And I've talked about that, okay? But we're going to get the pavilion as it is now up to snuff so that when it's wintertime and we go in there in the wintertime and that wood stove is on, that we're going to be toasty and comfortable and we can relax, okay? I don't want to walk in there and, have to worry about that. Ed will, with more eggs, will you have to eat more daily so they won't go bad? What I'll probably do is I'll sell them to pay for feed, Larry. That was kind of my game plan with that. So definitely want to do that. So we don't have windows in there yet. No. What we're going to be doing first is getting screening up in there. We got the screening here, so that's got to go in as well. But next step, what we're going to do is we got that plywood that we bought this weekend. We're going to be putting that in. And then after that plywood is in, then we're going to, working on getting individual stuff done. I know Mark wants to, and we're going to do shutters. Yes. I know Mark wants to work on his place. He's got some stuff that he needs to get done down there. So, I want to make sure he's got enough time to do that too. What we got to, the things that we got to do, like I said, it's methodical. Take care of, and then, making sure these guys have enough time to work on their own individual stuff as well. But we'll get there. And it'll come together, and I have no doubt about that. I mean, it sounds hopefully optimistic, but I've always been a glass half full kind of guy. I always have, and I always will be, because I'm not a negative Nancy. I don't do the woe is me, poor me. I'm a victim mindset because it doesn't do any good. Things happen, you got to roll with it, and you go on. And like I said, we've made some tremendous progress down here, and we will continue to make tremendous progress, and it will come together. So, and that's just the way it is. So we'll get there, but it's just steadily getting it done. So that's all we can do at this point. But yeah, anyway, guys, I am going to leave you with this thought again. STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish in life, doesn't have to be about prepping. It doesn't have to be about living off grid. It's whatever you're striving for. If you work methodically at it and you make it happen, the only person that can stop you from achieving that goal, if you set realistic goals, obviously, is you. That's it. Nobody else. If you stay positive and stay away from negativity and negative people, you're going to be in so much better shape. So just think about those things and you're going to be okay. All right. Anyway, guys, I'm going to jump off here for now. I will live stream on Friday, 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock for hardcore members. If you're interested, go to my main page, hit the join button, and become a hardcore member. And you can join us for the 6 o'clock live stream. And then the normal live stream will be 8 o'clock. And then I will be live streaming also on Sunday at 8 o'clock. So I look forward to seeing you all then. Have a great night, everybody. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.